Many people used to ask my mother, why has your son gone into films when your husband is a poet and a man of letters? In our time, when we were in college and university, way back in 1962, the obvious thing for most young men was to be a graduate. That was kind of peer pressure. But what do you do after you become a graduate? And that seemed to be a problem. Then somebody, after we tried many other places to get a job, and having failed, somebody said you should, become a newsreader in All India Radio. So I applied for the job. I was rejected. I tried in Hindi as well, and I was a failure there as well. So then someone said, Calcutta is the place where if you know how to have your gin and lime at lunch and can swing a golf club, you'll get a job. So I knew neither, but I still landed up there and fortunately got a job. And that's how I spent about 7 years in Calcutta. I then came across, through my brother, an advertisement in a paper, a film magazine actually, from Filmfare Madhuri, inviting applicants to come and do an interview for a possible role in film. This advertisement was given by 5 or 6 very prominent directors of the time, and I felt that this was perhaps a very legitimate way of getting into the film industry. I never knew any other way, and I applied for it, and I was rejected in the preliminaries there as well. So then I left my job and I just landed up home and landed up in Mumbai with a driving license, and I said, if I don't get into movies, at least I can become a taxi driver.
And subsequently, I just took my photograph and went from door to door, looking for prospective producers. And I must say that initially, it was tough going, because nobody can just pick somebody up from off the street and make him into a leading man. Especially if there were some disqualifications, as I would say. Where I was concerned, I was too tall and I wasn't the regular, good-looking, handsome heroes that normally work in Indian cinema. So I would say the beginning was very quick, and then there was a gap of almost 3 or 4 years before I could get regular work.
I keep quoting my father all the time, and I'm sure I've done this millions of times. One of the first things he taught me was, man ka ho to acha, na ho to zyada acha. And I could never understand that. And when I asked him, he said, if they're not happening according to your wish, they're happening according to the wish of some divine force. And that divine force will never think ill about you, so you have to respect that as being better. The other thing he told me was, when I was struggling a lot in those times, I said, bada sangharsh hai jeevan mein. So he said, jab tak jeevan hai, tab tak sangharsh hai. I think if we accept this factor, your life is never going to be easy. Something or the other is going to happen. So rather than sit in some kind of despondency on that, be aware that tomorrow is another challenge, is another day, which could turn out to be profitable, which may not. But eventually there will be another day when you can start trying all over again.